Somebody said that Buhari's civilian dictatorship has inflicted maximum damage on the zoo's global image. Maximum damage. That's what he said. And as we said before, of course, why shouldn't it be? You were warned many years ago. Most of us warned you many years ago that the zoo will be destroyed, which we are hoping and praying for. And I also said it, that the best thing to ever happen to Biafra was the coming of the late Buhari, the Major General, the dictator, the ill-educated brute that only takes delight in massacring innocent civilians. I said it, and look at where we are today. A lot of progress is being made, and we shall continue to strive forward to make sure that Biafra comes in our time. He was a member of the House of Reps from Plateau State. His name is Honorable Bitrus Kaze. He said that those that rule in the name of President Muhammadu Buhari, or should I say Major General, they are running a civilian dictatorship. I said it when people were telling us we should vote in 2015. I remember saying to them to look at the case of the Islamic Brotherhood in Egypt. I said it, go and look at their record. Anytime an Islamic extremist gets into power, they always change the narrative, they always change the constitution. The existing order can no longer hold. They always veer towards totalitarianism. I have said that. I said it in 2015. Anybody who can dig up any of my broadcasts then will testify to this. Anytime you put into power an extremist, a fundamentalist, as you people have foolishly done in Nigeria with the Fulani cabal, they will always veer towards extremism because that helps them to cover their shortcomings. They are not savvy enough to run a modern government. They are not educated enough to understand the principles of governance within a democracy. They are not polished enough to understand that the rule of law is that very key pillar that holds that very edifice they call democracy. They don't understand it. It doesn't exist in their world. I warned all of you that the Fulani people are feudalists by nature. They run a feudal system. A very primitive feudal system that is incompatible with democracy. Incompatible, irreconcilable. But some of you fail to understand it. When you put a Fulani man in power, you have written your own death warrant. Is it not happening? When they wanted to appoint Tanko, did I not tell you that Pawine Tapa, which is native Dr. Bag, I told you what was coming. I warned you that Sharia law will come. Has it not come now? When they removed Onoyen and put that man in, did I not warn you that Sharia will follow it? Has the Sharia not come now? Is there anything I've told you that has not come to pass? Absolutely nothing. Because we are under divine mandate. Anything I say here comes to pass. It doesn't matter what it is. Once I proclaim it behind this very microphone, on this very hallowed temple, this very radio Biafra, that very thing comes to pass. Those who do not acknowledge what we are doing are those that live in denial. The truthful ones amongst them can see what we are doing. They can see that everything we proclaim is the truth. Absolute truth and nothing but the truth. Today they have seen it. It's the same Tanko Mohammed today not talking about Sharia, and you will do nothing. All you can do is to complain, to whine and to moan. That's all you can do. To wail for no reason. Some even put their hope and their faith in things that I do not understand. I warned you that this was going to happen. It has happened. What are you going to do? Khan will issue a statement, others will talk, they will write, and that's the end of it, and Sharia will come in. They have opened up the floodgates of hell. They are going to bring in their relatives from all over the place in Africa. These are people that shut down the border. That is hurting the economy. The border is shut. The economy is suffering, crippling, and because of this janjaweed, these illiterate savages in the Sahel, Ghana is taking out their frustrations on hard-working Biafrans doing their business in Accra and its environs. Because the Fulani feudal cabal, you need to understand this. People sometimes say, oh, but why focus on them? Because I say some of you are very stupid. That is your problem. When you have appendicitis and you go to hospital, you will tell the doctor to focus on it. If you have fibroid and you ask doctor, please cut it out. It is killing me. You don't abandon the fibroid that is disturbing you to start treating headache. The problem that not just us, everybody, this regime of timidity, primitivity, and backwardness is engineered by the Fulani cabal that abhor education, they abhor enlightenment. Do you know what enlightenment is? Some of you who do not understand should go back to history and study the movement of enlightenment in Europe. That was the time that European crowned heads came together and said that reason must prevail. Reason, not superstition. Reason must prevail. From that very day, Europe assumed a position of intellectual preeminence that have dominated the discourse of humanity till this very day. That is why they can go to the moon. That's why they can send probes to the sun. That is why they can go to Mars and land robots on Mars. The preeminence of reason, to be able to reason. That is what we are trying to get some of you to do when you listen to Radio Biafra, to be able to reason properly. And hopefully tonight you'll be able to do so. They said that this very regime of Abakari, that some of you are pretending is Buhari. You pretend. You know Buhari is no more. You know Buhari is dead. But in Saudi Arabia, all of you know this very well, very clearly. But you keep deceiving yourselves because you don't want to prove NnamdiKanu and IPOB right. That is your problem, your petty envy and jealousy. Because of that, you're suffering and you're dying and you're suffering. That is why you have no electricity. That is why it's been confirmed openly in the zoo, as I told you, that the shortage of electricity is a deliberate Fulani policy, because they know even if they steal all the oil and gas, once you provide constant electricity to Biafrans, we will be able to build an economy out of nothing. Lack of electricity in the zoo called Nigeria is a deliberate Fulani policy to impoverish everybody, because once you're poor, all that concerns you is what you're going to eat. So even when they steal from you, they give you 4 or 5 naira, you're very grateful for it because you've seen something you're going to eat. How do you think they managed to cover to Colonel Hanese and all the rest of them? Out of hunger. And out of their desperation, or in desperation for their need for survival, they compromise and they sell their soul to the devil. That is what the Fulanis have reduced you to. All of you listening. Your inability to reason is why you are in the mess you're in today. Thankfully, some people are rising up and beginning to complain. They are now complaining. Some people, they say, oh, we are from Niger Delta. We are Niger Delta. We are not part of Biafra. It is the same Fulani-induced poverty that is causing them to say that. The same Fulani-induced poverty that is causing them to denigrate their own people. And I ask them this. So you think that the Fulani want one Nigeria because they love you? That is how foolish some of us are. Very, very foolish. They're into one Nigeria because they own all the oil wells. They give 1 or 2 or 3 Yorubas some as well. So when you hear them talking about one Nigeria, you think they love you. Of course not. They need unrestricted, unfettered access to oil and gas, the proceeds from it. This is a country that imports oil, refined petrol. They export crude oil, they import petrol. And people don't sit down to ask themselves, are we okay at all? There are some things that you do, believe you me, as a human being, you should be ashamed of yourselves, I'm telling you. But your average Nigerian, your average zoo animal cannot reason. They cannot reason. They can never ever reason. How can you have 4 refineries that are functioning, yet you import petrol and kerosene from outside? Are you people okay? Of course not. You're a product of a zoo created by Britain to cage your thinking faculties, not just your body, your mind, but also your soul. Because you can no longer reason. You are not self-aware or self-critical. They are now saying it, and very openly, that they are living in a dictatorship. The same thing that I warned you will happen. They will disobey the law. That is in their nature. It is the way they are. They will change the constitution. They want to rule forever. That is the way they are. Because they suffer from inferiority complex. They understand it very well. They cannot compete. They know they can't compete. What are you going to compete with? I've asked you before. Have you heard of a Fulani inventor that invented anything before? Have you heard of it? That in ordinary matches and matches. Have they invented anything in their lives before? It's only to be moving cattle from place to place, pillaging, raping, killing. And some of you move about every day as if life is normal. The same thing you did that made it possible for Europeans to come and basically empty our villages and took us to the Americas to become slaves. The same behavior today, there is no difference. When you see evil happening, you keep quiet. The same behavior exhibited by our ancestors is what we are doing today. The same, and once you do it, you end up as a slave. Once you continue that way, you will end up as a slave. That is what is happening to us today. You see something happening before your eyes. You say, oh no, it's not in my village, it's in the other village. The same mistake that the Yoruba media made, and today they are suffering the consequences of it. You can see where we are today, everybody. Those who were before against IPOB, shouting up and down, what you're doing is wrong, your language is not very good. What is happening to them today? What is happening to them? Are they not lamenting? Is this man here complaining not from Plateau State, Honorable Bitrus Kazek, is not from Plateau State? Why is he complaining? If things are okay, why is a former lawmaker complaining that a dictatorship is in power? And how do you bring down dictatorships? Through a revolution. There is no other way, because they are impervious to reason. They can never ever reason. Go and check in former Eastern Bloc of Europe how they collapsed, in South America, all over the place. How do you remove a dictator from power? How? And when you talk about removing a dictator, are you going to remove somebody that has the backing of their people? The primitive savage North. Are you going to, when I mean the North, I mean the Fulani? Because houses are developed. They have advanced reasoning. How do you intend to remove them? When everything is tribal and sectional, how are you going to remove them? How? People do not understand. The zoo is always ethnic, it is always tribal, it is always sectional. If you ask some of the Yorubas, why did you not support Jonathan? They said Jonathan did not give them enough positions. But everybody's a Nigerian, no, mind you. Today, this very day, this very present minute, every APC appointment is Fulani Muslim, all of them. They are now doing it in the open because they know all of us cannot do anything to them. Because they understand the mentality of Nigeria. They understand how Nigeria functions. They know that nobody will go outside their tribe, their ethnicity to go and fight for somebody else, fighting for the general good of the people. They know it's not possible. If they want to keep Jubril in power for the next 40 years, they will do it. It's very easy. If this APC Fulani Cabal regime want to keep Jubril, the Sudanese boy, in power, for the next 40 years, they will comfortably do it. Nothing will happen. Nothing will happen. Nothing. All you do is you complain and you come back, INEC rig elections for them, come to your villages and pick one or two people, give them money. They say, oh, it's our turn. Like Homo Agege, he is doing, it's our turn. And they support evil. And foolishly, as a black person, you follow them and support evil, as usual. But here, we don't condone evil, we don't support it, we expose it. And that is exactly what we are doing. It is not from us. They say we are tarnishing their image, IPOB have bring their image abroad. No. You ruined your own image because you're evil, you are primitive, you are backwards, you are unreasonable, and you are unlettered. Don't worry, you will see what is going to happen to the zoo. Instead of them to fight what is fighting them, all they are obsessed about is IPOB. And then Nnamdi, what we are doing to them. The army went as far as issuing a statement that IPOB doctored the Boko Haram video where they said 71 soldiers were killed. But the same army buried 71 soldiers. I don't understand it. You claim IPOB lied. We doctored the video. But you also buried 71 soldiers. Sometimes in my life, I keep asking Chukwu Kikabiyama, what type of punishment is this? Why put me amongst a people, a species, and this species of I can't understand, they cannot reason. People cannot reason. They have PhD, they have every degree in the world, but common sense is lacking. Some of them, we are reporting it, Channels Television, IPOB, doctored a video, it's a fake video. But the same channels, in the same newsreel, is showing the Nigerian army burying 71 of their people killed. And you're telling me that, oh my dear, goodness me. Goodness me. It's not an easy job, you know. Being a black African is not very easy. The level of stupidity we have in our body is just unbelievable. You may not like what I'm saying. Some of you may find comfort in saying, oh, I'm black and I'm proud, all that rubbish. But the truth of the matter is that you are the lowest of the low. And until you learn how to reason properly, until you learn how to put 1 and 1 together to give you 2 and not 4 or 8 as the case may be with some of you, your sorry state will continue. You can go on feeling sorry for yourselves. You can go on trying to convince yourself that somehow everything is okay, but it's not. Nigerian army said, listen very carefully, Nigerian army said that IPOB doctored the Boko Haram video, which is a lie, of course. Always seeking to blame IPOB. But the same Nigerian army buried 71 soldiers killed by terrorists. What does that tell about the thinking capacity or lack of it of your average Nigerian? The same people that are saying that IPOB killed, we doctored a video of where Boko Haram were killing Nigerian soldiers. The same people, the same Jubril answering Buhari reacted to the killing of 67 soldiers by terrorists. The same people. And you wonder what type of human beings these people are. You wonder what sort of human beings they are. They are the same people that said that IPOB doctored the video. They are the same people saying that 71 of their soldiers were killed. What does that tell you about those people? What does that tell you about your average Nigerian? And as I told the US government, when I told them in Washington, some of you can remember I don't know how long it's been, I told you that ISIS, they are coming to take over. Do you remember that I think it was published even by the independent newspaper. That very statement that I made. What is happening today? Listen carefully, please. Every terror group in the zoo is being sponsored by the Fulani Caliphate. Every terrorist group, and there are 4 of them. Four of them. ISWA, the one headed by Al-Bana with the son of Muhammad Yusuf, released by Buhari when he was alive. They are the ones responsible for the killing of their own soldiers. And they have claimed responsibility for an attack on an army camp in Niger that left 71 military personnel dead. The same video that our brother picked up and provided a voiceover, a commentary, warning our people in the army. If you're a Biafran and you're in the army, let me even extend it to the whole of the South. If you're from the South and you're in the Nigerian army, your life is worthless. You will die for nothing. You are fighting, defending those who are behind your back, taking over your towns and your villages, raping your mothers, and slaughtering everybody in sight. But you're busy in the Sahel, in the Sahel, in the desert, in the arid lands of Arewa, fighting for them. 17 of them have been killed. And I bet you they are predominantly Biafrans. ISWA claimed responsibility for the attack. And surprise, surprise, 71 people were killed. The same 71 people that were killed in the video that our brother shot. Or he provided a voiceover. The same 71 dead military personnel that the presidency is mourning. But because it was IPOB that provided the proof needed for it, they said, no, it's fake. It's a fake video. If it's fake video, how come you're burying 71 soldiers then? You claim that video purportedly showing 71 dead soldiers by IPOB is fake. But at the same time, you're digging 71 graves for 71 dead soldiers. And you're telling me that these people are normal. And who did it? The Islamic State, West Africa province, ISWA. They claim credit for it. And who is leading ISWA? He's the son of Mohammed Yusuf. His name is Al-Banawi. And who is Al-Banawi? Some of you don't know. He was arrested, brought to court in Abuja, the same time that we were going to court. And he was released from the courtroom there, he was released. But Nnamdi and all the rest of them, people who are going about their normal business in Biafra land, they're in detention. But the person responsible for the killing of 71 soldiers, they arrested him, brought him to court, released him. And people talk about fairness, justice, and equity. And I wonder, where is it? Where is that justice? Where is that fairness? Where is that equity? Those who claim that they're politicians, those who claim they're public, commentators, those who claim the opinion, I don't know, should I say, those that mold public opinion, those who influence government policies, where are they? Your people are being kidnapped every day in Abai, in Onisha, in Omwan, everywhere. In Asaba. In Iguacha, which the white man named Port Harcourt. In Enugu. For no reason. But the person heading the group that killed 71 soldiers was arrested and released from Federal High Court in Abuja. And people are saying that is somehow there is fairness in Nigeria. It is working. Some of the idiots that argue Nigeria has to be won because of it provides it's kind of counterbalance against regional instability. They're all talking rubbish. And I keep asking them, for how long will this nonsense continue? For how long will Fulani be doing as they please? For how long will they continue to kill innocent people? For how long? I keep asking. Then these are the people, the same people that killed 71 soldiers. They are the ones that tomorrow they'll tell you, oh, they have repented. They have been rehabilitated. They will now join the army and the police. The same people. I have never seen this level of hypocrisy. Unbelievable level of hypocrisy. I've never seen it. All those who are shouting up and down, oh, 2 policemen, they died. They came to Orifite, 2 policemen died. Condolence message to solidarity message to police, to everybody. Where are they now that Fulani people have killed 71 soldiers? Where are they? And these soldiers did not go to storm anybody's house. They were on their own and they were slaughtered. All we did was to show the video. But given that, I don't know, Nigeria. You know what's wrong with them? I have no idea. That's you. The video we showed said 71 people were killed. You said it's a fake video. Then you went and you buried 71 soldiers. Now who is lying to who? And for what reason? And this is what they do. And they will continue to do it. Some of you do not know, as we are coming on air today, that you know the very educated Honorin. You know Honorin very well. Some of you know him. The one they removed to bring in Tanko Muhammad. And a madman for that matter. I don't know what they put in that bag. That hunter's bag that they carry. Maybe some of you can tell us what they put in it. I have no idea what they put in it. That is Fulani Nigeria for you. That the British are defending something. Isn't it very funny that the case of Showore, all of a sudden, the British mission to Nigeria have now found their voice. They can now speak. If it's to do with Biafra, no. Anything that will disrupt the status quo, that will stop the corruption from, feeding off the pain and the suffering of the masses, no. Now they have found their voice. They're speaking once again. This was the go and I want Chinasa, Mazua Foreman, Abaka, go and look for that very program I did. The lecture I gave on Radio Biafra concerning Tanko Muhammad, the Sharia Chief Justice of Nigeria. I warned you then that they will bring in Sharia. I told you that was why they brought him in. I said it on air. Go and look for it and you'll find it. What is happening today? Because, you see, that is the way they function. They beat you into stupor. Because they know that Britain, because before anybody intervenes in Nigeria, they must first of all ask Britain. Because some of you do not know that after the Second World War, when the United States of America asked Europe to disengage from Africa, warned the whole of Europe to get away from Africa, that colonial nonsense must come to an end. There was also a parallel meeting that was held. In that meeting, it was agreed that former colonies of European powers should remain exclusively their sphere of influence. What do I mean by that? As Nigeria is, nobody does anything in Nigeria without British approval. Nobody does anything in Benin Republic without asking France. Nobody does anything in Congo without asking Belgium. You can't do anything without asking these powers. You cannot. You can't try and find out. You can't go into Angola or maybe go into Equatorial Guinea without asking Portugal. You can't. You must ask them. Some of you don't know that what you are passing through now is what is markedly worse than what happened during colonialism. Worse. You are now in the phase of neo-colonialism, where they use local instruments, willing tools within you to run your life into the mud. The same thing that they did with Ohaneze. Appoint some fake people, say they are now your leaders. They are in Ohaneze. They take them to Abuja and to Lagos and throw parties for them, give them a few contracts. Meanwhile, our oil is going in Anambra, in Imo, in Abia, in Ebonyi. Our precious stones are disappearing every blessed day. In Iguacha, our oil is going. The whole of Delta, the same. Delta State, there is. In Akwa Ibom, the same. And I keep asking people that keep telling me about Niger Delta, show me one oil billionaire you have in Bayelsa State. Name one oil billionaire. The answer is zero. None. But you're busy online writing rubbish against IPOB. We are Niger Delta, so all these fools, idiots. Amend Nigeria's constitution, accommodate Sharia law in it. They have spoken and they will do it. They will do it. And what are you going to do about it? Absolutely nothing. You only complain. Oh, we leave it to God. Khan will say that's Christian Association of Nigeria. Oh, we leave it. We not agree. Oh, we not agree. That's all. And you go home and you lie down and you sleep. Instead of you to give credit to IPOB that is doing something, instead of you to rise up and join IPOB and make sure that this impunity comes to an end, or you're busy yapping rubbish as usual. My happiness is that the whole world listens to Radio Biafra. We don't feel sorry for ourselves, and they know that. We don't, because we don't have any time to feel sorry for ourselves. Our stupidity must be exposed. We must. Listen carefully. This is a country that practices common law, enshrined common law, a democracy. All of a sudden, the Chief Justice of that very place, Tanko Muhammad Binta, he now wants the constitution of the country to be amended to accommodate sections of Sharia law. And where did all this nonsense start? It started from my trial, when Binta Nyako said or asked my counsels in the court that they should go and acquaint themselves with Sharia law. IPOB kicked against it. She said it in her own court, that our lawyers should go and study Sharia. How she wishes that they can go and learn a bit of Sharia. He wants Sharia law to be taught at our university. So University of Nigeria and Soka will have department, law department, and also Sharia law department. University of Calabar, law department, and Sharia law department. That's what he's saying. And they will do it. Are you going to stop them? Who is going to stop them? Somebody should tell me, who is going to stop Tanko Muhammad and his crew from doing what they said they're going to do? Are you going to stop them? Are you capable of stopping them? It's only IPOB that can. This is the Chief Justice of a secular nation, so to speak, or so they claim. He is advocating for an amendment of the Constitution to accommodate sections of the Sharia, which means that people are not together, which means there are two systems supposedly working side by side. That can never be one. In Britain, you have Muslims in Britain. Does British law accommodate Sharia? The answer is no. Because Sharia law is a religious law. It has nothing to do with secular dispensation of justice. It's no. Nothing to do with it. But here, everybody is behaving like the three blind mice. They know nothing, they hear nothing. And people are just blind. And they are messing around with us. This is a man that never studied law to start with. He is just an ordinary what they call them again in is it Alakali? I don't know what they call them. Kotuma in a Sharia court. Chief Justice of a Federation. The man who is learned, or Nogan, that studied law, went to school, became a judge, became a Chief Justice, everything. They removed him. They brought in this thing from heaven knows where. The gods must indeed be very crazy, I'm telling you. Look at what is coming out of the mouth of the Chief Justice. Sharia law. So University of Lagos, Sharia law department. University of Benin, Sharia law department. That's what you're going to have everywhere. Because they've said it. And on top of that, that Arabic must be taught in primary and secondary schools across the entire zoo. I call it a zoo. Some of you call it Nigeria, but I think you're mistaken. It is a zoo. It's even worse than a zoo, to be honest with you. Now you understand why Africa is backwards. We are the problem. Not the leaders. The leaders are not the problem. Ordinary people remains the problem that we have. Not just in Biafra land and the wider zoo, not just in the whole of West Africa, in the whole of is the public. Forget about the leaders. The same thing that these Fulani feudal lords are doing today, the same thing happened in Europe. Europeans said, no, we can't have this rubbish. The Arabs rose up, Arab Spring, to say all this rubbish must come to an end. Ask yourselves, why can't everybody rise up in the zoo to say enough is enough? Because you are not one people. You are not the same and can never be. There is a saying, I know the world is listening, and of course we prefer to preach in English. But there is an adage where we come from that I think explains, or should I say encapsulates everything that is wrong with the zoo called Nigeria. In our place we say, Izukamana Nage. You cannot have a revolution in Nigeria unless that revolution is Hausa youths against their leaders, their corrupt leaders in the north. Yoruba the same. Biafra the same. Apart from that, nothing can ever work. To expect people to come together from you are in cloud cuckoo land, it can never happen. That is why this man is bringing in Sharia. Because they know nobody's going to fight them. They know that very well. Nobody is going to fight them. That is why they can do whatever they like and get away with it. Very, very sad indeed. But it is happening. They are now bringing in Sharia. And who's going to stop him? He was represented by the Grand Qadi of Niger State at the ceremony where this nonsense was uttered. The name of that one is Justice Muhammad Danjuma. He's a justice, so he's Sharia. He's the Grand Qadi of Niger State, but he's a justice. They can put him in appeal court, and from there he goes to Supreme Court as a justice of the Supreme Court, delivering judgment on everything, on things that he did not study or read, on things that he is incapable of understanding. But you are in Nigeria. That is the gift they give you for being in Nigeria. They give you a Grand Qadi from Niger State. His title is Justice Muhammad. Justice, full title, Justice Muhammad. How many justices have you seen from customary court? Making it all the way to the Chief Justice of the Federation. The answer is 0. Do you understand the dilemma and the difficulties people are having? Do you see why the Yorubas are confused? Because half of them is Muslim, half is Christian, half believes in Sharia, half believes in what's it called, in common law. Nobody knows where they stand. I have no idea, I have no clue what they believe in. We need to articulate and ask ourselves this question all the time. What do we want? Once you define what you want, the rest becomes very easy. But I'm just telling you right now that wishing or hoping or praying for one Nigeria is the most foolish thing any idiot can do from the zoo. Only a fool can ask for one Nigeria, because we have what is called irreconcilable differences. Our value systems are not the same. We are not the same people. We don't even worship the same God. And there is nothing binding us together as a people. Absolutely nothing. The Northern Emirates, the Sharia states you have in the north, they have a lot more in common with Saudi Arabia than they have with somebody from even Benue State. They are not the same people. We are not the same. Let us not pretend. If not that the white man came, Lugard came and said, you, from today you are Nigerian. Do you think we know these people? Do you think we will know them? The answer is no. The only reason why you are jumping up and answering a Nigerian is because a white man said so. And that is why you're a slave. You have no control over your destiny. You are a slave to an artificial creation. Today you have, very soon you have your Sharia everywhere. And you complain for a few days. They're going to bring out one Abdul Aziz Wosu that they converted like a maker for in the north. Tie the shit around his head and bring the idiot out and say, oh no, here it is. How can you say there'll be no Sharia law at Imo State University when there is this Abdul Aziz Wosu who is from there? That's what they're going to do next. And write it down now, that's what they will do. And so there are Muslims in Ebonyi. Can't you see one Chukwemeka Abdul Rahman from Ebonyi? We also need to cater for his needs. He wants to study Sharia law at Ebonyi State University. Are you going to stop them? Are you going to stop them? That is what is happening in the zoo. And what can they say? And on top of it, people think it is a joke what is happening in the zoo. They brought in Christian wedding. The Christian wedding tax, they call it. Muslims don't pay, only Christians. And some of them are still shouting one Nigeria, which it beggars belief. When I see a zoo animal, the way they behave, the way they think, the way they talk, I keep asking God, for what reason did you mix us together with these people? who cannot reason. How did it become possible that we are together with these people? The Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria, they said they have rejected the newly introduced marriage tax as part of their marriage certificate law by the federal government of Nigeria. You have a Janjaweed from Sudan who is in power, controlled by an Islamic terrorist in Abba Kyari. All of them there, they call themselves the presidency. That's Trump from heaven knows where she comes from. Oh no, she's only there as decoration. Somebody who was busy moving, doing human trafficking, sending prostitutes to Italy, is part of the presidency. That is what is happening in the zoo. They have introduced a tax. It is called marriage certificate law. The taxation is once you go and you marry in a church and the pastor is giving you certificate, you are paying tax to the federal government of Nigeria for getting married. If you don't want to pay the tax, you go and marry in a mosque. You go and get an imam to marry you. Then it is free. And all of you are in one Nigeria, pretending everything is okay. We Nigerians. I look at you people and it can never happen again. If there is something like afterlife, I will not, some of you I will never meet. I can never meet some of you. So you people are lower than wild beasts in the Serengeti. You can't reason at all. Very sad indeed. They are taxing Christians. Go and get married and pay. But if you're a Muslim, there is no problem. You don't need to pay. What does that mean? It means if you don't want to pay the tax, you just become a Muslim. The same way they're doing. Some idiots have been saying, we are from Niger Delta, we the South. Some useless set of people. Whereas every oil well, every oil block, all the oil billionaires, they are from the north, with a handful from Yoruba land. Yet you cannot reason. They come to you, they say, oh, let us be one Nigeria. This is our Nigeria. Let's not spoil anything. Ogoni land is polluted. Nothing can grow there anymore. People are dying. Lung diseases, cancer of all types, killing people. Those who are enjoying it are in the desert, having fun. They contribute nothing. They take everything. And you're busy down in Biafra land writing rubbish. He said, we in the Niger Delta. And of course, being a pipeline guard to your masters from the north. Very sad indeed. Very, very sad. This is Radio Biafra. We're live and we are direct. The time now is approximately 8 p.m. in the blessed land of Biafra, where you have to go through 80 roadblocks before you can get into Biafra land. 80 roadblocks before you can get in. We'll come to that later. 80 roadblocks. Now what they do is that they stop you, they bring you down from the vehicles, they open your phones. That's what Nigerian soldiers are. Meanwhile, their fellow terrorists are killing them in the north. They are not asking those that are recruiting into the army, former terrorists that they claim they are former, or terrorists that are taking into the army. They don't check their phones, but they come to Biafra land and they check our phones. If your phone contains anything to do with Biafra, they bring you down, they kidnap you, they kill you, and they harvest your organs. They send it to India. Some people will go to India and buy the same organs harvested from their own brothers and their sisters. Are you sure we are okay? Are you sure as a people that we are normal? The army checkpoint, police checkpoint is 80. Some say the city, of course, it's not, we've counted it. 80 checkpoints, 80. But in the north, where there is Boko Haram, there is no checkpoint. In the north, where they have ISIS in West Africa, ISWA, there are no checkpoints. In the north, where you have the real banditry, kidnapping, they don't have that many checkpoints. Because if they did, there would be no kidnapping along Kaduna-Abuja Expressway. Now you're beginning to understand. Now you're beginning to appreciate the level of mess people are in. Now you're beginning to accept that what we need to do is actually, when Biafra comes, is to go and build one big hospital, advanced hospital. If you come there, you submit your brain, we cut it open, we put common sense in it, and then we sew it back again. Because we can't reason properly. Some of you don't like it, but it is the truth. We don't reason, and that is our problem. Inability to reason properly. That is the problem of the black man. That is why you have no electricity. You have gas, you have oil, you have sunlight, you have no electricity, you have engineers. There is something wrong with you. Do you understand it? I am not insulting anybody, I'm just telling you the truth. Because that is the only way you're going to change. You have oil, you can generate electricity from gas. From all my, after all, that is something you point. What is electricity? It's not the same having a big generator. The generator lasts for people, that's all. Now, do you understand it? Do you appreciate it? Do you understand your level of stupidity as a Nigerian? Do you see how foolish you are as a Nigerian? That you are the embodiment of stupidity. That your own foolishness cannot be, is off the Richter scale, it can no longer be measured. But tomorrow you will go to your local church and say, oh, I'm praying to a God of miracle. Bring miracle for us. But the only miracle you need is to ask God to take away your stupidity and put common sense in your brain. And all your problems are solved. Solved. You are going to pay. Somebody is now complaining, maybe because Benny Hinn has spoken, some of them may listen. When I was telling you that they're coming to Islamize you, you didn't believe me, did you? But now Benny Hinn has spoken. They said Nigeria's unity is non-negotiable. It is the oil and gas that is not non-negotiable. The oil and gas in our land. Somebody is writing on. Somebody is writing on Facebook that we should. It is hate speech if we insult Nigeria. That we should use our native language to insult Nigeria. That Nigeria can. So, which other hate speech do you need when I have to pay to get married? In a synagogue or in a church or in a temple? But the Muslims cannot do that. Their own marriage is free. They even give them what's it called? An allowance. Because all the imagine that you see they're not doing anything, they're not surviving. How are they feeding? Is it not from the oil and gas that comes from the south? And the taxes that we pay? Those of us that do business in the zoo called Nigeria. Isn't that what is happening? They say that the notion that Nigeria is a united country has been proven to be false based on past and present realities facing the country. People now know it, that Nigeria is a fraud. Nigeria is false. It doesn't exist. It's only in the imagination of the corrupt and the neo-colonialists. Nigeria should not have existed in the first place. It is people are now, even the likes of Benny Hinn, they now acknowledge it, that Nigeria can no longer function. He's a white man. I think he's from Iran, but he's from Iran, isn't it? Yeah, of course, they're ancient people. Everything, some of the things we know today also they're from Iran anyway. They are you heard about the Medes, the Midianites and all the rest of them, Babylonia and all that. It's from there. It's from there. Very advanced people, I must say. So we can regard them as people we can listen to. But he's from Iran, he's a Christian. He's now telling you that since coming to power in 2015, this present regime, in the name of the dead Buhari, has done more harm than good to the unity of Nigeria. So saying that Nigeria is non-negotiable is the most stupid thing anyone can say. But you ask yourselves, why would some Yorubas believe that Nigeria's unity is not negotiable? Because they are afraid on two fronts. I now have to speak the truth. My good friend and my brother, Fanika Yode, is Oduduwa. I won't call him Yoruba. But the Yoruba people are the ones I'm talking about. Those who don't understand their own history. They want one Nigeria because Biafrans, we are kind of an insurance policy against the threat from the north, which is there, ever present. Another one is that they need access to our oil and gas, and allow me to repeat what I've in fact, I will say this anytime I broadcast, I will say this. We will give away our oil and gas for free, not just to Nigerians, but to all of West Africa. We will pipe oil. Every West African nation will have oil and gas from Biafra land. Because if they're developed, it's better for all of us. It's called economies of scale, if at all some of us read economics. Let everybody be developed. It's for the good of everyone that we are all developed. It's only in Africa that you only want to be the only upstairs in the village. You don't understand. And then you complain about armed robbery. But if everybody is comfortable, nobody will go and do any armed robbery. You can leave your doors open. You can, enjoy life without worrying about who's coming to steal from you. So you don't understand that? Do you think that white people, they pay they pay benefits and both housing and food stamps because they love doing it? No. Because if you keep people well fed, there'll be no need for robberies, and at least you reduce it. Buhari's government, run by Jibril, telling you that the country is indivisible, and you believe them. But they're the ones dividing it. You claim the country is indivisible, but you're the one bringing Sharia. You're the one bringing armed bandits from all over the place to come and be killing people in their own land and taking over their farms. You claim that you want one united Nigeria, but every appointment, every position is Janjaweed, Fulani, Alamajri from the north. You want one country, one Nigeria. You send police and soldiers to go to people's homes and try to kill them for no reason. Whereas the bandits that you're arming, Aiswa, Al-Banawi in the north, killing people, you have done nothing about it. They have killed 71 soldiers. How many houses you have burnt in the north? You came to the first house to burn his house. How many houses you have burnt in the north as a result of 71 Nigerian soldiers being killed? How many houses belonging to Fulani terrorists we are burnt? How many villages we are ransacked? That is why the ego of Orifite is a very stupid, useless man he is. Our people don't reason anymore. I ask you, the more you write that type of stupid letter the ego of Orifite wrote to the Commissioner of Police, the more you give them the encouragement to keep coming and killing your people out of their own stupidity and cowardice. How many houses were burnt in the north? I ask, as a result of 71 Nigerian soldiers being killed. The answer is 0. How many checkpoints do they have? How many people have their phones searched in the north? None. But because we are peaceful, that is why they come to our land. Because we are peaceful. That is why they continue to do what they're doing to us. Some of you don't know anything. Some of us do not know nothing. We don't understand history. History has a very funny way of repeating itself. Do you think that what these Janjaweed are trying today, these Alamajiri terrorists are trying today, have not done it before? They tried it 342 years ago, to be precise. They came to our land. They came to our land to try to colonize us. They all died in Benue. They died in Benue. Some of you don't know this. It was called a miracle, an act of God. Their entire armies were decimated. If you don't know, let me tell you. So it's not that what you're seeing today, these Fulani headsmen, these Fulani terrorists you're seeing, they have come before. Then our land was holy. We didn't have to raise an army to fight them. Chukwuka them in heaven fought them and destroyed all of them. They all died and went back to Zaria. The few armies that were left went back to Zaria. Don't you know that? But now, because we are very sinful, our sinful ways, they have now come. It's only IPOB that you have to defend you. And that IPOB, do you give help to IPOB? The answer is no. Is there any politician that supports IPOB? The answer is no. It's us fighting to save them. And even at that, they are coming and picking them off one after the other. Some of you do not understand history. But we shall educate you. This is Radio Biafra. We are live and we are direct. And the whole world is listening. Why do they want their one Nigeria? The purpose of Islam is to conquer all of you. Not Islam. Don't blame Islam, but those practicing it in the zoo called Nigeria. Using Islam to extend the reach of the Fulani Empire. That's what they're trying to do. People, you shut down the borders with Benin Republic, with Togo, with Ghana, Senegal, and then you open the whole Africa to come. Does that make any sense to anybody who is reasonable? That's the way the science treaties the name of it. Only the Sultan of Sokoto owns 23 oil wells in Nigeria. You never hear one of these, one of these You know, you have significant sabo in Ohanese and Pandem, and you have significant ones. The little versions of them. Baby sabo, still of the bottle. They will never write that they are afraid of their foreign masters. They will never tell you that the Sultan of Sokoto that contributes nothing to the economy of the zoo. The chief terrorist. He is the chief terrorist. The personification of terrorism in the zoo called Nigeria is the Sultan. He owns 23 oil wells. 23, 2-3. But you can't have people from the so-called Niger Delta say nothing against him. Of course not. He's their master. He is their godfather. They guard pipe for him. That pipe that the Asian is guarding, the pig is guarding, it belongs to the Sultan. That's how bad things are. People who cannot reason. That's the way they are. Those who cannot reason properly. But we are here to drill some sense into them. This Sultan, we have to be one. Unity, diversity. Our numbers should be an advantage. Why is he saying all these things? He is saying it because he owns the oil wells. He does nothing. He has never worked, done anything meaningful all his life. They come out, they go into the army, later organize a coup, or they appoint themselves into positions. They raise their little Janjaweed militia, their own army, their own little terror groups, and that's it. And they've arrived. They are now leaders. And this man is the president or the chairman of traditional council of traditional rulers across the entire zoo. It has to be him now. He's Fulani, he is the Sultan. Even Tinubu will bow down before him. Every Yoruba Muslim, they look up to him. That is why some Yorubas, if you read about let us everyone better separate, they'll tell you no. Because their spiritual guide, their leader, the person that they listen to is the Sultan of Sokoto, not the only of Ife. Go and do your research. What Sultan of Sokoto says is what they would do, because they are Muslim. Every Muslim in Nigeria sees the Sultan of Sokoto as the spiritual head. So the likes of Tinubu, Fashola, all these APC Yoruba Muslim that you see around you, they all listen to the Sultan. Sultan owns to the 3 oil wells in the Niger Delta that is polluted in the same land of the Biafras that we come from. But the people that cannot see it, those around the north, they can't. How can they see? Where everyone is blind, how can they see? How can they see? Very sad indeed. These are the things that the world do not know, but will keep exposing and bringing to the attention of humanity. They have messed us up so much. They have seized, that is the new craze now, seized their passport. Ever since Bintan Yako took my passport, everything now is take the person's passport, take his passport. They have taken the passport of Honorin. I said, I'm waiting for them to do something to Alan Onyema, then we'll remind the world of how many corrupt people you have from the north and from Yoruba land. Then everybody will be investigated. And then IPOB, once we start, we don't stop until something comes out of it. Do you think that the reputation of Nigeria is bad? We will make it worse. Let them try and proceed. We said Onyema as the last if we were going to fight for. The very last. We extended our amnesty to him. The very last we will fight for. Anybody with common sense should go and join IPOB. If you have any brain in your skull, you can join IPOB so that when it starts, we will know how to defend you. So simple as that. The immediate past leaders of the zoo, Walter Noggin. I remember when I was in detention, illegal detention, he was busy, this Noggin, championing one Nigeria, led the cause inside. And then I said to him, you must rise up and say that impunity is bad. He said, no, today they've come up with it. Anything I tell you is the fact. I know him, and I know him very well. I wrote to him, said to him, this thing, if you preside over impunity, it has a way of spiraling out of control. He said no, that in fact the Jofo and my team should not hold any press conference anymore regarding my case. He was the man that introduced it. because they lie in their law court. You come outside and tell the whole world what actually happened. He was the one that stopped it. Although he stopped it. He said no, that lawyers should not be addressing the media anymore. It was him. Today they've taken his passport. But, we shall fight for him because he wasn't one of the affiliates. So he's exempt from it. They're taking it. And the person that replaced him, Pan Wanda, cannot speak English. I don't even know if I can find unbelievable. I think a lot of people were I'm trying to see if I can find this Tanko Muhammad's what's it called? His was it question and answer session? I think there was they call it valedictory section. You know, the zoo, they have all these fancy names for things. I don't know what they call it. I want to see if I can actually find it. If I find it, I'll be able to play it for the whole world to hear what Tanko Muhammad was actually saying. So incoherent. It is untrue that such a person can rise to become the chief justice of the federation. Unbelievable. What this man was rambling coming out of his mouth, and apparently he is the chief. What is that? Please do try and bear with me. I am trying to locate it. I am trying to locate this very short video. A lot of you have it, and I want it circulated, please. And Maka and the rest of the crew, I want it circulated. This Tanko's interview, I'll try and play it for the whole world to hear what is coming out of the mouth of a Chief Justice of the Federation, of an English-speaking federation. Unbelievable. I'll try and see if we can play it.
That we have to blame we ourselves because the effective is testing attitude and the position of the judiciary in Nigeria, we are still facing a lot of intimidations here and there. So he says we have a lot to blame. We are such. Meaning that we are contributing factor to whatever happens to us.
Did anybody hear him? He is saying that the judiciary are facing intimidation across the board. And you know what this man said? That the judiciary should blame themselves for soldiers storming the court. In other words, Justice Ipob Nwachukwu should blame herself for the DSS coming into her court. I don't know if she is to go and hire her own brigade, her own group of thugs to be guarding her court. That is what is coming out of his mouth. A Chief Justice of the Federation. And you still believe in one Nigeria. Some of you still believe in one Nigeria, don't you? You are facing holding a microphone like a tortoise. It's unbelievable. Some of the things that come out of the zoo it defies logic and common sense. This man here, I want the whole world to see it. That the judges are to be blamed. So if he goes to an international conference and they ask him, why are we witnessing such, spate of intimidation right across the board in Nigeria, leading to the invasion of a sitting court by armed security personnel? He will say it is the fault of the judge, presiding judge. And this man is the Chief Justice of Nigeria. And you are a proud Nigerian. May Lucifer have mercy on your soul, because you are out of the grace of God. So God can have mercy upon your soul. That was the man they removed Omogen and replaced him with. That is the man they replaced Omogen with. Unbelievable. And they say they are proud Nigerians. We are proud. God, you know, some of these Yoruba Pentecostal pastors, they will come out tomorrow, they will tell you that they saw a vision, that things will be better, that God told them that things will be better in Nigeria. And I want our people to ponder this for a second. If at all we are capable of reasoning that deeply, if at all. The federal government of the zoo of Nigeria, they have set a deadline of 2023 to stop the importation of petrol into the country. Petrol you put in your car is imported. And as they import it, they pay what is called, what's that thing again? They pay, they subsidize it more or less. Subsidy. That's what I'm looking for. They pay subsidy to Fulani and Yoruba petrol merchants. And do you know the refineries that they refine this crude? They take crude oil from Biafra land. Listen very carefully to the stupidity of a Nigerian. That is what makes Nigeria the most stupidest place on the face of this planet. That is why they are so backward and why they are so foolish. I want to explain so that the world can hear. When we say we don't want anything to do with Nigeria, the world must understand the level of stupidity that goes on in Nigeria on a daily basis. Do you know that Nigeria is the only country in the world that produces oil and gas in commercial quantities, and they import the refined, or should I say finished products? And how did that come about? Because the same corrupt Nigerian politicians from the north, they are the ones that went outside, that went to Equatorial Guinea, they went to some of them bought shares in Angola refineries and elsewhere. They take the crude oil from Biafra land, they ship it out on a ship, and then they refine it and they bring it back, creating employment in other places but on their own. And you hear them talking about unemployment, youth unemployment, graduates not being employed. How can they be employed when you refine petrol abroad? And meanwhile, you have Kaduna refinery, you have Warri refinery, you have one in Iguacha, and I think you have one in One. I'm not too sure. They have 4 refineries. None of them is working, but it's the so-called giant of Africa. Even the raw material that comes out of the ground, they can, to refine ordinary petrol, they cannot. And they want to sit at the UN Security Council. Look, that is how foolish your average Nigerian is. That is how hopeless he or she is. There is no shame. The funniest part is that your average Nigerian has no shame. There is no shame whatsoever. The crude oil comes out of the ground. Simple technology that anybody anywhere in the world can do, which is to refine petrol. They send it abroad. That is a symptom of an imaginary republic. Such level of failure can only characterize a country ruled by a Fulani person. That is no other way to describe it. That's not a way to describe it. Very, very sad indeed. That is how sad it is. They are going to stop the imposition. They are not ashamed of themselves. 21st century. Not ashamed of themselves. Not ashamed of themselves. Listen, one Nigeria, you can see institutionalized stupidity. Once you become a Nigerian, institutionally you become a very stupid person. The reason becomes impossible. Absolutely impossible. You can no longer reason. I keep harping on this thing all the time about reasoning capacity. Without reason, you're an animal. And that's why I call Nigeria a zoo. They cannot reason. They can't reason. Oil is coming out of the ground. Your graduates are leaving universities without any prospect or hope of getting meaningful employment. The biggest resource you have, you ship it abroad, then refine it and bring back the petrol. And those doing this illegal business, so to speak, you pay them subsidy, running into billions every month. And you are in one Nigeria, all happy together. Do you see how heavy your stupidity is? We tell you, that is why they grumble behind our backs, but they can't do anything about it. Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. And someone have now struck. They have said the countries without oil are doing better. According to IMF. IMF said there are countries without oil that are doing better than Nigeria. Why are they doing better than Nigeria? Because they can reason. They have common sense. Their thinking faculties are functioning. Their thinking faculties are functioning. The International Monetary Fund on Thursday, only Thursday, a few days ago, said that oil-dependent economies like oil, the only thing they know is oil. That is why Buhari, when he was alive, Minister of Petroleum, oil, till today, they are holding on to oil. A Fulani man has to be the NNPC board chairman. That is all they care about. Because they cannot use their brain to manufacture anything. If you say to them that the same Japan they went to begging for investments from Japan, that same Japan has nothing, no coal, no oil, and on top of it, Japan is suffering from earthquake issues, so to speak. When you say to an average Nigerian, I say to my Yoruba brother, I will say Oduduwa brothers, you can even survive without oil. They have to understand it. Because all their lives, all they know is oil and gas. Let's sell it and import everything else that we need. A run-tier economy. Economy of lazy people, run by lazy people and for lazy people. I have said it. There are countries doing better than they have no oil. And I keep praying to Chukwu every day. Can't you dry up this oil? Because then they will leave. Take all this oil you've given to Biafra. Take it and so these vandals can leave us alone. All they know is oil. Lazy people. That is why when they see our industry, our hard work, they bring envy into it. They take our oil, they take our gas, they impoverish us, but we are still being blessed. Despite of their envy and jealousy, we are still being blessed on a daily basis. Anything we touch, of course, turns to gold. We still retain that Midas touch. We still retain it. I have said it. Maybe some of you will listen. But you don't need oil and gas to survive. Some are doing better than you. But to the average feudal moron from the north, all they care about is that oil. They have to sell it to make money, or else they are not. I keep asking, what have they manufactured? What have they produced? What is the contribution of Katsina State to the growth of Nigerian economy? Somebody answer me. What is the contribution of Katsina State? Of Sokoto State, of Kebbi State? And funny enough, from Kebbi State, you can fly abroad. They have airport. You can fly to Middle East. But those that have all the resources, doing all the hard work, opening all the businesses, they don't have not one viable international level. And you claim I'm a Nigerian. I like Nigeria. I love Nigeria. Nigeria is my country. And in the midst of all this nonsense, the truth is being told every blessed day by Aisha, but you know, we are black now, we are Africans. It goes into one ear, it disappears through the other. Nobody pays attention, nobody listens, nobody wants to listen, nobody wants to contemplate the fact that what Aisha is going through or passing through is real. This is not what we are making up. This is what is coming from the Zoom media. That the wife of Nigeria's president Aisha Buhari has accused Garba Shehu of disloyalty. I ask you, the compound that you go to, and a woman is complaining about the plight of that very family is where the man is no more. How can Aisha Buhari be accusing Garba Shehu of disloyalty and subordination to the presidency? Saying that this very person that speaks on behalf of the presidency is loyal to Mama Daura, her husband's nephew, if her husband is alive. I just can't for the life of me understand it. I don't understand it. And there is a statement from here which I'll try and read out later for the whole world to know what your so-called average Nigerian is being forced to live with out of fear and cowardice. because their cowards can't do anything. They cannot challenge those who are pressing them. They cannot rise up to say that enough is enough. Only to be on social media. Sometimes, very few handful of them anyway. They're yapping rubbish. This is a direct quote from Aisha. He has shifted his loyalty to this is Garba Shehu from the president to others who have no stake in the compact that the president signed with Nigerians on May 29, 2015 and 2019. Mrs. Buhari said in his statement. See, his own statement. To make matters worse, this is Aisha Buhari. Mr. Shehu, that's Garba Shehu, has presented himself to these people as a willing tool and the executioner of their antics from the corridors of power, even to the level of interfering with the family affairs of the president. The wife of the president saying, they claim the president is alive, their president is alive, the Major General Buhari. And the wife is telling the public that a man is meddling in the affairs of her family. There is also a saying where I come from. I don't know how I can translate that into English. It is pathetic. Now you know the reason why Africa is poor. Anytime I point these things out, it is for you to change. The way you reason is flawed. Your reasoning capacity is flawed. Aisha is telling you that somebody is interfering in her family affair. And you're telling me that her husband is alive. Is that what you're trying to tell me? Every clue under the sun, she has given you people. But you will never learn from it. They are Nigerians. They never, ever learn. Now, Aisha is her husband's spokesman. And when a woman becomes her husband's spokesman, you know that the man is no longer available. If her husband were to be alive or still alive, why would she be the one to complain that bad people have taken over the country? Why would she complain that somebody is meddling in her family affairs? Why would she be locked out of her quarters in Aso Rock? And you all saw the video. But tomorrow you see that 45-year-old boy. You call him, say, Mr. 45-year-old boy you bring from Sudan. You say he's your president. And if you ask the world, if you ask Britain to intervene or to investigate, they say, no, we don't want to cause a wider chaos within the sub-region of West Africa. Because if we come out now to say that Buhari is dead, it will lead to civil unrest, and there will be destabilization across West Africa, and we don't have the troops to go there to keep the peace. That is the reason for allowing Jubril to continue in office. And that is why Aisha keeps lamenting. And Aisha will never have peace until she brings the body of her husband back and the husband is buried. She will never have peace. For the next 4 years they intend to stay in power, she will never ever have peace. And after that, they start the planning. They say, oh no, he went to Saudi Arabia, he died, we're going to bury him. You know, they don't know how to cover themselves. Garba Shehu has gone beyond his boundaries. This is according to Aisha. And the people cannot. She released the statement. She said it openly with her. She wrote it down. I don't know. Oh my goodness me. Oh, let me read what Aisha said to see if some Nigerians, some of the people that inhabit the zoo, if some of them can have a little bit of sense this evening. Just a little bit, a tiny bit of sense this evening. Because what is happening in Nigeria is an example of how not to run a nation. This is what Aisha said, her own words. To make matters worse, Mr. Shehu, that's Garba Shehu, the president's spokesperson, has presented himself to these people as a willing tool and executioner of their antics from the corridors of power, even to the level of interfering with the family affairs of the president. Aisha, I'll continue. This should not be so. The blatant meddling in the affairs of the first lady of a country is a continuation of the prodigal actions of those that he serves. And her husband is still alive. and she's saying all these things. Let me continue. We all remember that the chief proponent appropriated to himself and his family a part of the presidential villa. In other words, Mama and Daura took a part of the presidential villa once Buhari died. That's what she's telling you. Because had Buhari been alive, how can the president be alive and somebody will come and take over villa? Are you telling me that Nigerians didn't read this? Are you telling me that Nigerians are so daft and so stupid they did not read what Aisha wrote? That presidential villa have been cut into two. Mama and Daura took half. People are so blind and oh dear me. This UG black. Oh dear. Why did people actually go to school? You went to a university, you cannot reason properly. Anyway, universities in the zoo. That's how they churn them out, isn't it? But some of you escaped it. Some of you went through university and came with your brain still intact. Some lost it on the way. Some lost it on the way. And let me repeat what Aisha said. We all remember that the chief proponent, who is Mama and Daura, appropriated to himself and his family a part of the presidential villa, where he stayed for almost 4 years. And when the time came for him to leave, he orchestrated and invaded my family's privacy through a video circulated by Mama and Daura's daughter, Fatima. This is just like Mrs. Trump saying that the part of White House has been taken over and that somebody moved in and that they locked her out of her quarters. What do you think Americans would do? I'm saying if Melania Trump were to stand up today to say, I have been locked out of my quarters in the White House, what do you think Americans would say? There is a difference between white people and black people. I say it without any equivocation. I say it without any regret. I say it all the time. The way white people reason is different from how black people reason. And that is why blacks are poor and white people are advancing all over the world. Say, that's what I said. The way we reason stinks. The first lady is telling you that her home was invaded. Part of her villa where she was taken over by somebody. And all of you kept quiet. And you're calling that thing from Sudan Buhari. Because you don't want Nnamdi to be proven right. You don't want the world to know that what Ipob has been saying is correct. That is all. Because of your enviousness, your greedy nature, and your jealousy, you are prepared to suppress the truth. And only that truth can set you free. And somebody called them a bunch of... That was why Jibril called them lazy youths. The person that called you lazy youth can't even go and investigate properly. And lazily, you are online on social media writing rubbish as the lazy youth that you are. I will continue. Fatima videoed her. I was locked out of the villa. It was there for the whole world to see. Garuba Shehu, as villa spokesperson, knew the truth and had the responsibility to set the record straight. But because his allegiance is somewhere else and his loyalty in his place, he deliberately refused to clear the air and speak for the president who appointed him in the first place. For the dead president who appointed him in the first place. His loyalty has shifted because Buhari is dead, so he moves his loyalty to somebody else. That's where the world works. The king is dead, long live the king. That is the way it goes. People are blind, zombies in the zoo. As Fela would say in those days. The man that I respect so much. Fela Anikulapo. Respect him so much. Zombies everywhere. I want people to understand why abroad is good. Europe, Asia, America is good, and Africa, Black Africa is poor. I am trying to prove to you this evening that the way you reason, the way you condone evil is the reason why Africa is poor. And I'm beginning to question this. Individually, we are brilliant. Don't get me wrong. You have individual brilliance across the board. I mean, blacks are, you can have one or two, very brilliant minds, but collectively, once you put us together collectively and ask us to reason something through, then you're asking for trouble. Because nothing good will ever come out of it. Absolutely nothing. Aisha is telling you that the husband is no more. It's no more. But some of you will not be able to listen. She is saying, Garaba Sheikh needs to understand that this kind of behavior will no longer be tolerated. Why she signed it First Lady, Federal Republic of Nigeria. And some of you are still saying, Mr. Buhari is coming to Abadi. Mr. Buhari is in another state. President Buhari is off to Egypt for another meeting. You can fool those fools. You cannot fool IPOB. You can't. They know they can't. We know he's a jubilee. You can put all the plaster on his face, all the makeup, all the fancy work you do to him to make him look older. But he's a young man. We have separated his picture. Because I am not like any other useless black person from Africa that can't reason. People who follow my club, Liverpool, who have been supported, by the way. I support Rangers Football Club. Don't get me wrong. My first club is Rangers Football Club of Enugu. That's the people I support. In those days, I used to support Spartans when they were Spartans before Iwanya took it over, and I stopped supporting them. Once Iwanya took over Iwanya National, I stopped supporting Spartans. I support Rangers Football Club of Enugu. For information. Not first and foremost, then Liverpool second and Barcelona third. In that order. There was the Hillsborough disaster. For those who don't know, go and read it up. They were campaigning and fighting for justice. It took them over 20 years to get it. Over 20 years to get it. That's what I expected by white people. Diligence and consistency. And the same thing. The same thing. Until it's gone through. But the results are... Are you still talking about that thing? That thing that happened since? This UG. Black people. I keep saying it until you have. I don't care if you're upset. If you're upset, it's entirely your business. If you're upset, go back and think about what you've just heard. And change. And change. The woman came out and said, I no longer have pillow talk with my husband. I no longer have the man does not sleep with her anymore because the man is no longer there. Every clue she has given zoo animals, but they cannot reason things through. No brain in the zoo. No newspaper or television will say, let us go and carry out a research. There was that Yoruba girl they gave money to that used to work for us reporters before. They said there's a fact check. And when we investigated who was doing the fact check for AFP, it turned out to be a Yoruba man. And I was wondering, why is it that CNN doesn't cover Biafra issues? Until I discovered again that the correspondent that they have, who is now writing about Showore and what is happening to the zoo, the dictatorship of the Fulani cabal, because it's not affecting them, are Yoruba journalists. So no matter what happens, as long as the person is a Yoruba journalist in the zoo and it has to do with Biafra, they won't write it. I just discovered. But I'm asking them to go and do their own investigations. Ask yourself, why is this woman lamenting that my husband does not sleep with me on the same bed? She's only giving you people clues to learn that, to understand that Buhari is no more, but you will not learn. I don't have intimate conversations with my husband in bed. What else do you want her to say? To come out in the open and say, oh, my husband is no more, then you believe her. You know, I keep referring back to how we are raised in the village. You know, the stories we are told under the moonlight in those days. When you asked for clarity or for clarification of something that appears confusing to you, they ask you to count your teeth with your tongue. They will never give you a direct answer. Just say, use your tongue to count your teeth. Then you go back and reason things through. But that, it seems, is lacking in the zoo. called Nigeria. And it is our job to expose them, including the death of the 71 soldiers they killed. And we have done so, and we shall continue to do so, because IPOB is founded on truth. This platform, Radio Biafra, shall continue to preach the truth, and nothing but the truth, until Biafra sovereignty is restored and beyond. My husband does not sleep with me. First Lady Aisha laments. It's everywhere. So, where else are you? These people. Zoo. They talked about hate speech. I am sorry I have to go back to this. Because the North feels that they are the only ones that have this monopoly over violence and the killing of innocent people. They said that Showore wanted to overthrow the government, not even to overthrow, to conduct a rally, a protest march. Because of that, he called for revolution now, protest march. Because of that, he was locked up, which we continue to campaign for his release. And he will be released, of course. It's only a matter of course, he'll be released. And when he's released, as I keep saying, he will become the face of Yoruba nationalism. Now he's realized that he cannot fight for Nigeria. He will become the Yoruba leader when he's released. That one is sure. It may take time, but he'll be released eventually. He will be released. Jonathan went to the north, and a mob attacked him. They burnt his posters. The army did not open fire. But if it is an Anambra, Obiano will tell them to open fire on ordinary people. That goes to show that there is something fundamentally wrong with us. There is inconsistencies everywhere. And we are the ones giving the Alamajiri from the north the impetus to do as they like. To do basically as they like. And that cannot and will not continue. It will never ever continue. In 2012/13, I preached on Radio Biafra, as I alluded to earlier during the start of this program, that the shortage of electricity, let me repeat very slowly so people understand me. The shortage of electricity in Nigeria is due to a deliberate Fulani policy to impoverish everybody. Fulani believes in the poverty of the masses. That is the only thing that sustains a feudal system. The type of governance they practice in the north, where the emir will sit down doing rankadede from morning till night, depends on the people not going to school and not being able to fend for themselves. So that if you feed them and ask them to do something, they do it. They brought that very model to the south, and they have succeeded in inculcating that in us. That is why you see somebody standing up in a village and shouting that, oh, that our brother is in the House of Reps, so we'll do whatever he says. And that is why some idiots also in Iguacha was told, one or two people went to IPOB family meeting and asked the meeting to resolve because IPOB embarrassed Chibika Mechi in Spain. And I also heard that or read that some people calling themselves whatever name is saying that IPOB should not harass Amechi again. And I wanted to ask them if Amechi is not Igbo. If the name Amechi is a Zamfara name. That is, our people have become so confused in southern Biafra that they call South or Niger Delta. That I begin to feel sorry. And an average Nigerian is foolish, I know that for sure. But the stupidity of some people from the so-called South or Niger Delta is worse. Markedly worse. And I don't know what to attribute it to. I'm still trying to figure out what could be responsible for such level of idiocy. Fashola that said that when APC were campaigning before, APC said there will be 24 hours electricity. Today, Fashola said that we have surrendered. Only a magician can fix Nigeria's electricity woes. And tell you this. There are those that sell generators in this. So there are countries, very powerful countries that manufacture generators. There are also those that make a lot of money by selling those generators. There are those also that see it as their duty to ensure that everybody is poor. So once they are poor, you can control them. So there is no electricity, it is also good for the full and feeble lords in the north. All these forces coalesce together to make sure that you will get no electricity. As simple as that. But because some of you are Nigerians, you will not in a 1 trillion years. You will know it's up NEPA, down NEPA. NEPA is doing it, no, it is not. The problem is far more deeper than that. The Fulani do not want constant supply of electricity, because if there is constant supply of electricity, the economy can be grown. People will find jobs. People can no longer be purchased easily. The conscience of the people can no longer be bought over by politicians and the leaders. That's why they don't want electricity. That is all, nothing more, nothing less. But some of you will never understand this. Not in a billion years, you never understand it. But every year, the same problem. The same problem every blessed year. Every year, public inquiry after public inquiry. Nothing will ever happen. Because Nigeria is not meant to be one. Everybody should be on their own. The Biafra should be on their own, sorting out their own electricity problem. Everybody should be. So let us see who has the capability of advancing or regressing. Let us be on our own. Let there be a little bit of competition. Everywhere else in the world, even within the country, regions compete. Even in Germany, regions compete. Some are known for making cars. Some are known for making electrical products like washing machines and dishwashers. Others are known for. You must be known for something. What are the Almajiris in the north known for? It's only to embezzle money. You're saying all those Okali is corrupt, and you people are not. So you people are not corrupt. Anyway, we know what we're waiting for. Once that happens, then we'll see what will happen to them. Everybody corrupt in the north. The whole world will know. Whenever we see them, we'll arrest them and hand them over to the nearest authorities for prosecution. Since you're fighting corruption, it's only the Ipob people you want to fight corruption with. Your own people are not corrupt. Alamajiri and their useless sense. They keep buying transformer everywhere. They cannot fix it because it's gone. Gone and gone and gone for good. And as they are running you down, they're taking over your land. We won't allow foreigners chase us from our ancestral lands. Autumn speaks. He's fighting Ruga, fighting for an invasion. They have given them carte blanche, given them express permission. Come as I warned here on Radio Biafra a few months ago that they are coming through Ghana. I know the woman responsible for ferrying Fulani terrorists into this called Nigeria. They want to take over the south. But you will not listen because you believe in one Nigeria. And it will consume you like it consumed Zeke. Anybody that feels that Nigeria is theirs should look at Okala and see what became of him. He was fighting for one Nigeria. Look at where he is today. There are people who are more corrupt than himself. All of the place in the north. Who are the chief corruptor, if not the Alamajiri from the north? They tell you as you're shouting one Nigeria, they are jailing their own people. You are busy shouting one Nigeria. Let's keep Nigeria one. Hey, we're fighting corruption. The same thing I want they did to Hausa people. The same thing today was done to Hausa people. We are fighting corruption. We are fighting corruption. Hausa peasants helped them to eradicate their culture and their way of life. And today they only have farm, a feudal system, and cattle to contend with. I like what Governor is doing, and I want him to continue doing that. To keep fighting for his people, not like the weasels we have in Biafra land. Apart from weak, of course. The rest are weak and decrepit, I must say. Benue will not surrender. I don't expect it to anyway. And when it comes to them abusing people, the rights of people, detention, and all the rest of it. Because I read the outcome of the ECOWAS suit that I brought in 2015, actually. That is Africa for you. When I instructed the Geoffrey to file that very suit, I thought I was going to an ECOWAS court. I didn't know I was going to end up in a Nigerian court presided over by a Kogi woman. And she gave her ruling. And saying I was not tortured, that my illegal detention, despite various court pronouncements that I should be free, is legal. In other words, the ECOWAS court is sanctioning arbitrary arrest and detention only from Africa and only from black people. Unbelievable. And that is the reason why this government of the cabal, led by the real president, is actually Abakari. So I'm sure all of you know this, but due to your cowardice and your fearful nature, you don't say anything about it. You all know Buhari is not there. He's Abakari. Because Buhari cannot have 50 different faces at the same time. It's not possible. Human rights abuses. Now that the world has risen because we keep campaigning every blessed day. Even today we are campaigning, lobbying the world to let them see the evil that Nigeria has become. And that is full of gangsters. They are now telling US and EU and Europe to mind their business. Mind your business to US, UK, and EU. But this was the monster that Obama, with the help of Cameron, created. These are the people telling us that stability of the region. So because of the stability of the region, they should kill all of us. And then there will be stability in the region. Now they raised, and nothing will happen. After all, Abacha held off for very many years. If they want to go to what I call the dark phase of a dictatorship, they can do it and nothing will happen. Abacha can decide to enter into the dark phase of dictatorship, nothing will happen. Kill everybody, arrest everybody, unleash clampdown, and terror everywhere, nothing will happen. Because Tony Blair will go there and they will give him some money and they will go and lobby and say, leave them, those colonies that are very loyal to the British Empire. So leave them to be in control. We don't want those sensible people from the south to come in. These people we know from the north is better for us. Let's keep them down. And by keeping them down, they lock Biafra down. And by locking the creative potential of Biafra down, the whole of Black Africa is in darkness and in a mess. Because without Biafra, of course, Africa will remain poor forever and ever. That is a fact of life. And they know it. Finally, they know it. Now they are responding and saying that the United States of America, EU, and UK should mind their business. They invaded the court, they arrested Shore, rearrested him in the court of law with guns. And then they went to say, that's China's television. Whoever wins can never be well with that TV station. I'm telling you the truth. Evil upon evil. Oh, that the DSS have now gone to beg the Justice Jamuju. They said they are sorry. You invaded the court of law with armed men, and you're saying you're sorry. And you abducted Shore, a man under bail. The same way they came to kill me. But they didn't succeed. Because we have a job to do, and that job is to restore Biafra. This is Radio Biafra. The time now is exactly a minute past 9 p.m. in the blessed land of Biafra. We shall be bringing this very program to a close very, very shortly. But we must continue to teach that which is right. We must continue to teach that which is right. Some of you must know that the senators we have, or some of you have, in Abuja, have said that they will fight the menace of checkpoints in Biafra land. You also know that the House of Reps promised Chidoka, the lawmaker, the younger brother of Osita Chiloka, that they will look into it, investigate the menace of checkpoints in the Biafra land with a view to dismantling them. But it's getting worse because it's a lawless regime. They don't listen to reason, legal pronouncements, don't move them. They're a law unto themselves. All they need is to get permission from the Sultan, from Abakari to do whatever they like. We still have those checkpoints. And if you're coming back from abroad, be very, very careful. Very, very careful as to what you have in you, because they are kidnapping people. They are seizing their properties because of Biafra. But at the same time, they're recruiting Boko Haram into the army. Because you are in Nigeria. Only Biafra can save us. Only Biafra can save us. They have done Egypt and they have declared visa-free entry for all allegedly in Africa. And they will take over Benin. They will take over Ipob. If care is not taken, they'll take over our land. And what are you going to do? You still be shouting on Nigeria, something that the Hausas did when the Fulani took them over. Very sad indeed. Very, very sad indeed. This evening, before we close, we bring you the news that I am very glad to say that the reign of Nyangudo has come to an end in Ohaneze. Come the 31st of this month, Nyangudo will cease to be the Ohaneze President General. It will go to Imo State, and hopefully we should be able to find somebody who is reasonable in Imo State to lead Ohaneze. After the 31st of December, the most disastrous and catastrophic phase of that very body will come to an end. It will come to an end. And it will go to Imo State. Let those who are coming out in Imo also understand how serious we are about who leads Ohaneze. They must be very, very serious. Because it was under the watch of Onyangudo that a farmer farmers are being killed in our land, our mothers raped, our daughters impregnated. Even a state governor, Dave Fumadi, confessed with his mouth that our mothers are being raped because of Nyangudo's weak leadership and his treachery. Some people are trying to sugarcoat his accomplishments, to try to say that his reign was eventful. No, it wasn't. It was the most disastrous, the most wretched phase we've ever been through, so far as Ohaneze is concerned. As these Fulanis are in our land raping and killing, in the Middle Belt, raping and killing, in Yoruba land, raping and killing. A court in Abuja sentenced the 67-year-old farmer Samson Ako, Samson, because he's a Christian. As my friend rightly said, only Christians are being jailed. They sentenced him to 3 months imprisonment for killing a cow that's fed into his farm to destroy his crops. Channels television will not write about it. People will not have a discussion or have a phone discussing the injustice of this very thing that we're hearing. Samson Aku sentenced to 3 months in prison for killing a cow that came and destroyed the crops in his own farm. A cow is now more important than human beings. Welcome to the zoo. Welcome to Nigeria, the land where cattle are valued more than human beings. More than human beings. I thank you very much for joining us this very day. But before I go, I must say this: there are some people who are in Enugu State. Anytime there is a meeting finance meeting and you're required to